Lu Xiang tried to speak for me again, but I stopped him. He glared at me, cursed, useless, and slammed the door as he left. In this situation, it seemed inappropriate for me to stay. So, I picked up my phone from the table and prepared to leave after him. Just as I put my hand on the door handle, Lily called me. "Swayan, come back." I turned around and smiled at her. "Sister, you guys have fun first. I'm going to check on Lu Xiang." This was the first time in so many years that I had called her sister so happily. However, it seemed that she wasn't pleased by it. Lily's expression stiffened, and then her face darkened as she repeated, "Come back." This time, I didn't listen to her. As I pushed the door open and walked out, I heard the sound of shattering glasses. The door closed behind me, blocking out the noise inside. Saying I was going to check on Lu Xiang was just an excuse to leave. Lu Xiang and I had never been on good terms. In school, he would hit me with a ball during PE and secretly cut up my assignments during art class. He would hide my textbooks and put caterpillars in my desk. Even after growing up, we still couldn't stand each other. Although he had spoken up for me this time, I didn't have any urge to improve our relationship. I had intended to go home, but as I walked to the gate, I saw Lu Xiang leaning against the wall smoking. Seeing me return, he stubbed out his cigarette and threw it into the trash can. "I came with a you. Are you going back now? Mind if I hitch a ride?" I sighed, unable to bring myself to refuse. This was one of the few times in 12 years that I had been alone with Lu Xiang without any fighting. I dropped him off at his doorstep. He sat there without moving. After a long silence, he finally spoke up, "That Ji Chuyan is very similar to you in the past. But so what? Even if they're similar, he can't become me, and I can't become him." I didn't want to continue this topic, so I opened the car door and shoved him out. Ignoring his angry shouts, I gently pressed the gas and turned into the adjacent villa. Our house was next to Lu Xiang's, and Lily's house was next to ours. Only the wealthy and powerful lived here. As I parked the car, Lu Xiang called and asked me to check my WeChat. I opened it and saw a flurry of red envelopes in our group chat. Lily had added Ji Chuyan to the group, and they were sending red envelopes to congratulate her on her new relationship. I also sent a red envelope, but as soon as it was sent, Lily kicked me out of the group. Immediately after, she sent me a private message. "Sorry, Swayan. Your presence makes Chuyan uncomfortable. Let's not contact each other for now." My lips tightened, and it felt like someone had punched me hard in the chest. After a moment of contemplation, I replied with a simple "okay." However, instead of a reply, I received a prominent red exclamation mark. Lily had deleted me. 12 years of friendship, from our youthful days to our prime, had been defeated by her 2-month romance. I stared at the exclamation mark, feeling a pang in my chest. My eyes were burning, but no tears came out. The old Lily would shake and laugh, saying to me, "Swayan, no one is more important to me in this world than my parents and you." But now, she said, "Your presence makes Chuyan uncomfortable. Let's not contact each other for now." How ridiculous. I liked Lily, but I never clung to her, crossed boundaries, or even said or did anything ambiguous. Whenever I learned that she had a boyfriend, I would actively distance myself from her, afraid that my feelings would become a burden to her. However, whenever I distanced myself from her, it would cause her dissatisfaction. Lily's first romance was with my college roommate, a guy who was fully aware of all my feelings for her. Later, they appeared before me hand in hand, and my roommate smiled brightly. He seemed to have forgotten all the drinks we had shared and thanked me sincerely. "Swayan, thank you. If it weren't for you, I wouldn't have been able to get one row." The wind was strong that day, and I stood straight on the shady path outside the library, feeling like a fool. Only then did I realize that he had approached me and befriended me from the beginning, all with the intention of getting to Lily. After all, how many adolescent boys could resist a campus heartthrob with a good figure, good looks, and a top-notch family background? I distanced myself from him and Lily. However, their love only lasted for 3 days. When my roommate came back, he went crazy. He looked at me with red eyes and asked, "Lily dumped me. Are you satisfied now?" I felt very puzzled. I hadn't done anything, so why was he asking me? But since he asked, I decided to tell him the truth. "Yeah, I'm satisfied. That night, Lily forced me to go out with her for a big meal. She teased me with a smile, "You haven't talked to me much in 3 days. Don't be angry, okay?" I explained seriously, "I'm not angry. It's just that since you're in a relationship, we should keep a proper distance. It's good for everyone. But I only agreed to try with him because I saw that you two were close. Whatever Swayan likes, I like. Whatever Swayan doesn't like, I don't like." She said it confidently. Later on, she would avoid dating any guys who had connections with me. She wouldn't even publicly bring them around us. However, in the upper-class circles of Beijing, it was often impossible to avoid encountering familiar faces. So even if she didn't say anything, news of her relationships would reach my ears through others. During gatherings on holidays, someone would tease her, "You've had so many boyfriends. When can you bring one for us to meet?" She would put a shrimp into my small bowl and take away the peeled shrimp from mine, answering casually, "Not yet at that level." There were also a few boyfriends who had added me, either pleading or shouting at me to stay away from Lily. After so many times, I understood that even if I hadn't done anything, my mere existence was the original sin. So, when Lily decided to cut ties with me for the sake of Ji Chuyan, I respected her decision. But why did she have to kick me out? There were others in the group besides him, including close friends who had been with me for 12 years. The phone rang repeatedly. I hung up and replied to them individually, telling them I was fine and not to worry. Then I lit a cigarette and watched it burn down slowly. Although men are taught not to cry easily, when emotions are on the brink of collapse, it's hard to resist kind words of concern. I was afraid I would break down and cry.